It's a first-time watch for you, Todd. The 25th anniversary of a cult classic from 1999. Idle Hands, my friend, with Devon Sawa, Jessica Alba, Seth Green, and many more actors in there too. I will start this one off. I have collected some films along the way, buying some Blu-rays here and there, and this by far is one of the ones that I was really excited to pick up. This and The Faculty are probably two of my favorite horror films that I actually have, and I've watched like every year. Two of the most, like 98 and 99 is like the sweet spot for my film loving time, and a very nostalgic period in my life too. I don't know if necessarily, I probably did watch it in 99 because I do remember we picked up The Faculty and Idle Hands. There's another film. I swear it was Bruce Willis, but I can never find this movie. He plays some neighbor and he kills the neighbors. I don't think it's actually Bruce Willis, but in my head it is Bruce Willis. It's very weird. But I remember we went to this thing called Blockbuster. We rented these movies with my cousins and watched them back to back. And The Faculty is a fantastic film. And then I watched Idle Hands and being completely creeped out of I'm under the bed and seeing this lazy Devon Sawa kid who I've seen before. This is before Final Destination. The first movie I saw of him was Wild America with Jonathan Taylor Thomas. And I can't remember the other brother, but essentially they were going across America filming wildlife. It's based off a true story there. It's a fun kid movie there, but seeing him grow up and watching this horror film here, and my first film with Jessica Alba, and having the killer hand as he cuts off his hand, and a lot of fun kills and quips. This movie was legit scary when I first watched it because I was 10 years old. I had some fun times, but I really wanted to watch it again. I've seen it several times since, and it's not nearly as scary as I remember, but it punches that like horror comedic bone. And there's this specific like niche in horror films that they have the kills, but they also have those comedic vibes to it. And this one is a complete like really fun horror comedy. If you look at the website, my star rating's 2. That's some bullshit. That should be 3, and that's going to be updated. I enjoyed this movie quite a bit, and maybe it's not like the most impactful or the most important horror film, but it's a cult classic for a reason. It's because it's a lot of fun. And I think you're seeing young actors in there who have done some horror films before. And you got, Seth Green, and I can't remember the other actor. Of course, I've seen him. He's one of the Bash brothers.
Elden Henson.
Yeah, there we go. Seeing their comedic timing and they're the potheads and they're the guys next doors, and they become the zombies in the middle of the movie, which is fun. It's just great. And then of course you get another like a kind of Vivica A Fox popping up here as this person who's hunting down the satanic hand and trying to kill it before it strikes again is also fun too. You've seen Vivica A Fox pop up in a lot of different horror films and a lot of like B-rated movies too. It's fun not to see her pop up from here to in there. But Devon Sawa, he's no like rookie to horror films. This probably won't be one of his first ones. He's known for the Final Destination movies, but he's also been in a ton of other ones too. So it's just a fun time. I think the kills are not the greatest things, but how can you not like love when you see like a decapitated hand sharpening his nails in a pencil sharpener to go kill unsuspecting teenagers at dance, high school Halloween dance. It's a lot of fun. And strangling that one when they're trying to get lucky in the car. It's fun times. So, all right. I'm really curious because I was like, this is the one I want to have Todd watch. So Todd, what is your thoughts, takes, and opinions on it?
It was not really what I thought it was going to be. Like, I remember like when I first heard about this, I was like, oh, Jessica Alba, like every man's crush or whatever in the early 2000s. Like I remember kind of when this came out, I was like, what, 11? And I really tried to catch it on like HBO or Encore or whatever it was that we had at the time, because we were all in love with Jessica Alba, and I completely had forgotten about it until like recently. And then you mentioned it. So, and then I honestly thought she was going to be the main character. Like I thought that until like I actually started watching it, I thought that Jessica Alba was the main character.
Mhm.
And I really thought it was an indie horror movie, not like a 90s romp, because this movie is so 90s.
Yeah.
And it has that kind of absurd horror sensibility, but wannabe jump scares of like scary movie kind of. And the soundtrack and the cast is just, I mean, it puts you back in that era. And yeah, Devon Sawa, I think he's a really bad actor, but I could see why he's cast in this kind of thing, because he is just sort of like oblivious and unwatchable, even though like you don't really believe him. And I think the movie takes a little bit to stop feeling like a sitcom episode. And because I kept thinking Vivica A. Fox looked and acted exactly like Angela from Boy Meets World. And I kept thinking like this could easily just be like a spin-off or episode of one of the 90s sitcoms that I used to watch. But I love Seth Green in this. He's the perfect idiot side character in whatever he's in.
Mhm.
And Elden Henson, like they kept reminding me of Badger and Skinny Pete. Like
Yeah.
they have no reason to be there other than just be like the comedic timing. But what's weird about is it has more in common with like Pineapple Express than it does like I Know What You Did Last Summer or like the self-aware slashers of the 90s, because like it's a comedy, number one, and then a horror movie number two. So it's like, and comedy horror has its ups and downs. Like I think Freaky is about as good of like a modern horror comedy as you can have,
It's a good
especially
one.
ones that aren't like going blatantly for gags. And like I don't really consider Shaun of the Dead like horror really. Like maybe Ready or Not could be considered comedy horror, I guess, and that was pretty good too. But
Mm.
I mean, like The Offspring is in this, which is awesome. There's a scene where he goes and kills the cops with Rob Zombie just like blaring in the background for no reason,
Yeah,
which is kind of,
Dragula.
and I don't know. It's funny watching Anton just like running around chasing his hand when he knows that all he has to do is like listen for screams and shrieks, and then he's gonna find his hand again and then lose it again.
Mhm.
But I think the movie's really dumb. I mean, the ending's kind of underwhelming, but I get it. I'm not really a fan, but obviously didn't see this. If I would have seen this back when I was in like middle school or high school, because I'm sure this was made for like teenage boys, number one, and even but it's rated R, so like I'm sure not a whole lot of people saw it. I saw it was kind of a flop at the box office, like
Yeah, that's why
four
it gets
million
like
on a
cult.
$25 million budget, which I
Yeah.
can kind of see because I mean this is something that if I was in high school I would have loved it, but I would never have been able to see it because it's rated R, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean my rating is whatever. I have a 1.5 stars, but it's not like I wouldn't just like turn it on. If it was on, I would probably watch some of it just because there is a lot of like there are a lot of sight gags and
Mhm.
a lot of just entertaining things about it. But it wasn't really my thing, and it really wasn't what I was expecting it to be. Like the poster is like kind of demented looking, and there's nothing about this movie that's demented. So
Yeah. Well, this is the this is the actual like other like the better known image too, and the hand changes colors. So one time this is like a more zombified hand, and the other one
yeah,
there's like an actual hand. Speaking of the hand, we got to talk about it. Like if you were casting a guy with a hand, you're casting Christopher Hart. He only has 3 credits: Adam's family, Adam's Family Values, and Idle Hands. What a better way to go about it than casting Christopher Hart in this. It's he's fantastic. Yeah, it's great casting. Like obviously you're getting the hand from
I guess I didn't even realize that the hand was a different person.
yeah, the hand is a different person. He is cast as the hand. And I get it. I get your rating here. It does have that cult classic moniker on it because it's one of the movies that did kind of flop. It's not the big comedic slashers of the 90s. It definitely has that stoner comedy first in it, and definitely some stoner comedy. So I like the comparison with Pineapple Express. Like yeah, Mick. Seth Green and Nub as Elden Henson. It could be the James Franco and Seth Rogen of this universe. I could definitely see like these guys are in high school and this is where they are at, and then they get killed by Anton, which is I think is a kind of a funny name for Devon Sawa to have, but
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. I do like one of my favorite kills in this is obviously like uh, Seth Green's kill is pretty fun. I think all the kills are really kind of fun, especially the main characters. But the two cops with the Rob Zombie's Dracula and he gets killed by knitting needles. It's fun stuff. It's great. They're not like over the top kills, but it is definitely like comedic kills above all. And of course, yeah, having those nostalgic vibes for myself, it's something that I've seen several times. And before I bought the Blu-ray, I hadn't actually seen it in a long time. So I just amped my appeal to it. So ever since I've owned it, I've watched every year. And again, like I said, I grew up loving The Faculty and Idle Hands and Scream, and even I Know What You Did Last Summer to a certain extent. That was like the one I didn't watch a ton, but other than the previous mentioned films, and uh, but still, like there's something about like later 90s horror films that just they knew the lane they needed to stay in with like comedic timings and self-referential humor to it. I thought that was awesome, and I like how can you not remember like Shout to the Devil playing in the background as they're driving up, like they just stole like a freaking monster truck and they're going in to save the day at the high school dance. That's another fun little homage. And like I totally forgot, like we've done a lot of different fun rankings of like fictional restaurants, like the burger, jungle burger or whatever, like Safari Burger or something like that restaurant. Like, is that a
Yeah,
good place to work? They just let anybody off the street behind the counter.
it's true.
Yeah, it's not health code savvy there.
It's the
And
90s.
yeah, he chucked that freaking like that knife across and just like stuck in the wall. That would have been a fun kill. But yeah, this again, fun movie for me, and I'm glad you at least had some fun with it. It's definitely something that all the posters makes it feel like it's a Jessica Alba led movie, but this is definitely a supporting role, the girl next door, if you will. But I'm
Yeah.
glad you at least had some fun with it and took the journey with me. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, like so you said late 90s horror is like your lane. That's really an era that I don't really have a lot of experience with. Like I didn't see Scream until I don't
Yeah.
know, like 5 years ago. Like
Mm.
and I Know What You Did Last Summer. I watched like parts of it back around when it was on, but other than that, like that, I really haven't seen a whole lot of these movies. But
Yeah, like that.
I can see how this like if I had seen it then yeah it would have been really cool. My favorite kill was the saw blade cutting Elden Hanson's head. That like because I mean you know what it did and then it takes like like a couple seconds before like it actually slips off. I was just like oh that was a good
Yeah.
one.
And when they have so much fun with his death specifically because of like he's like trying to get the cheese puffs, like his head's there and his body's in the background walking around, and they eventually put like the barbecue like tool, like they shove it through that to keep his head together because he's like, I'm getting annoyed of this, and he's like eating and like freaking burritos like going down. It's like, oh, it plays so well. It's so good what they were able to do with these two characters, and like a good homage to Gremlins with the bloody the microwave, because they kill a gremlin in the
Oh yeah.
microwave there too, with the hand. I thought, those guys are just so lazy. It's like, no, that's too much work to clean that. We'll just cook it. We'll cook the burrito. I've never seen them cook. Are we supposed to cook the burritos with a wrapper on? That's something I did. I was like, wait, what? Did you just do that? It's interesting. I've never done that before.
I mean
Some of them I
some
did.
just say like crack open the side of the wrapper
Mm,
and microwave it, but not normal.
yeah, no, bro. But yeah, anyway, well, that's our thoughts, takes, and kind of our fun conversation we had on Idle Hands, celebrating its 25th anniversary. Let us know in the comments section down below if you're watching this on YouTube what you guys thought about this film, and let us know what horror films we should review in the near future. Again, thank you so much for being a part of this review with me, Todd.
I was happy to be on here.